Well, hello and welcome to my channel. Do you love the Wizard of Oz? Have you ever thought of creating a Wizard of Oz theme party? Either for birthday or for Halloween or whatever. Did you ever think that it was just for kids? And you were afraid to kind of go there? Well, if that's the case, stay tuned because I'll be sharing with you how to create a fun, interactive Wizard of Oz theme party that is appropriate for both adults and children. Come down the yellow brick road with me and I'll show you how we put together this Wizard of Oz retirement party. Because yes, we're all gonna go down that yellow brick road someday. First things first, in order to set the tone for your theme party, when you create your invitation, look for a beautiful image online that you can add to your digital or physical invitation. Mention to your guests the theme of the party and encourage them to dress appropriately. And bring a dish or drink to share that is on theme of what people would eat at the Land of Oz. In terms of decor, there are many ways to approach this. In our case, we decided to let our guests through the home as if going through the actual story itself. So of course, we start in Kansas, where you may choose to do everything in black and white, as a nod to how the movie goes from black and white to Technicolor, but we knew one of the main features we wanted to include in our Kansas was a tornado. We decided to use an existing tall bush that was outside the front door to create our tornado. We basically covered it with white and gray tulle and added some floating items on it. Once your guests have gone through Kansas, of course they will end up in Munchkinland. We researched some ideas online of what that magical place may look like. And depending on your space and resources, you might want to go all out and try to recreate some of these village houses as you see here. Or in our case, like we did, you may just try to be representational of the space and try to bring elements that are reminiscent of Munchkinland. And of course, no Munchkinland would be complete without the yellow brick road. As our guests entered through the front door, they were encountered with the yellow brick road and of course, Dorothy's house, which had fallen on the Wicked Witch. We actually covered an existing armor cabinet with foam core and Dollar Tree wood-like sticker paper to create this cockeyed looking house that had been through a tornado. Don't forget the ruby slippers and those striped black and white socks representing the witch that was crushed by the house. As our guests continued their journey, they were led over the rainbow, or in our case, through the rainbow fringe curtain, and they landed in Munchkinland, where we had a yellow brick road on the floor as well as a yellow brick road memory board on the wall. To celebrate our friend who was retiring, we had 3x5 index cards where our guests could write their favorite memories with our friend. They could then add them to the memory board, which had a timeline with pictures of his life through the years. As our guests proceeded into the kitchen, they were encountered with Munchkinland, which was brightly decorated with paper flowers all around. This area was also designated as the appetizer area. Leaving Munchkinland, our guests would then proceed through the poppy fields, or poppy curtain in our case, into the witch's castle, otherwise known as the living room. For the witch's castle, it's a perfect opportunity to take advantage of all your Halloween past decor, and that's what I did in my case. I looked through my old photos of what I did for Halloween last year, and I tried to think of some of the items that we could utilize for this witch's castle. We decorated pretty simply with a lot of black fabric to cover the furniture, a fun backdrop, and a few Halloween items. We also had fun DIYing the witch's iconic hourglass made out of 2 plastic litter bottles, as well as some Winky spears which we placed by the fireplace. If you remember the story, after Munchkinland and going through the poppy fields, Dorothy and her traveling companions made it all the way to the Emerald City, where they got to ask the wizard for what they needed. But of course, their first hurdle was crossing through the Emerald City gate. So we thought it'd be a fun thing to do to create a division between the witch's castle and actually the next area, which in our case is from the living room to the dining room. So we researched online and we discovered there were many interpretations of what this gate may look like. It is such a rich and colorful motif that you can really just do a whole party just in the Emerald City, and you can make it as fancy and as adult-like as you would like, as you can see in some of these ideas. So in our case, since if you know me, I love to repurpose party props that I've made in the past, I knew I could reuse a lot of the things that I've used in the past to create an amazing Emerald City Gate. So using both the gate and the columns that I had previously created, I was able to recreate them into our Emerald City Gate. If you would like to know more details about how I created this, please check out my step-by-step video showing you how I did it, which I will link below. Once your guests have gone through the gate, which in our case was into the dining room, stick to an emerald green and gold color scheme with items you already have, or maybe items you can DIY or thrift. In our case, I was able to thrift a green sheet, which I use as a tablecloth, and I also thrifted a number of glass vases, which I turned into a centerpiece, creating a more abstract version of the Emerald City. As a backdrop, it was fun to create the scary wizard face on an old painted canvas I thrifted. One final area to consider adding to your Wizard of Oz party is of course the haunted forest. This works really great if you're hosting your party at a park or in a nice backyard with fully grown trees, like in our case. Don't forget to add the famous sign from the movie saying, "I'd turn back if I were you," which is an easy DIY project to do. And also don't forget to use backdrops to help with the ambience. If you have the space, it can easily be attached to your fence, or you can command hook them to your walls, or in our case, windows, just to create different areas. We also created a photo area with the backdrop and costume pieces that we thrifted or DIY'd so our guests could dress up as their favorite characters. And of course, no great party is possible without great food. And looking in the internet, we found so much inspiration, with people being so creative, using the concepts of the rainbow colors to create anything and everything, from a candy bar to a spectacular wedding cake, as well as using the main characters of the story for inspiration. Did you know there are actually several Wizard of Oz cookbooks out there on Amazon? Who knew? Here are some of my favorite ideas that I found online that, depending on your party, can be used for any kind of party, from a children's birthday party to a formal sit-down dinner for a special occasion. And finally, any good party should also have some fun interactive activities to get everyone to mingle and have fun. These are a few that I found online and a few that we came up with to incorporate into our retirement party. Well, that is it for this video. I hope you have found it helpful and inspiring, and that it has motivated you to throw an amazing Wizard of Oz party, or even a Wicked party to celebrate the new movie coming out soon. Anyway, have fun, and I dare you to try something you've never done before.